New Forager XL magnetic sweeper for forklifts. So this is the larger version of our existing Forager, hence the name Forager XL. And in this video, I'm just going to go over a couple of the features of it, just pivot points and the mounting system, and just a general overview of how it works. So this magnet mounts to a pin, well, the rear pin on your forklift. So behind this plate here is the back of the forklift, the counterweight. And so there's a U-bolt that you might be able to see if I get close enough here. So those two bolts back there are a U-bolt that goes around the pin of your forklift and secures the mounting plate to the counterweight. So that's fixed in place. There are multiple holes drilled in this mounting plate to accommodate different height forklift pins. And then from there, that mounts onto our Forager magnet assembly. So this has a couple things holding it on. Number one, gravity. There's a pin right there you can see going through a hole. That little square piece just secures it in place and doesn't let it fall out. And then that's held on also by these two bolts. So the Forager has a decent amount of adjustability on it. So because the back of the forklift isn't always flat, we give you these two bolts that allow you to pivot the magnet in or out. So you got your pivot bolt on the top there, and then the lock bolt on the bottom. And like I said, if both of these are loose, you can move the magnet in or out and then cinch it down where you want it, tighten them both up, and it'll stay there. So that keeps your magnet parallel with the ground, so it's completely flat and level. So on the Forager XL, we also have it might look like we're missing a bolt here on this piece. So this is another level of adjustability that allows you to manage the swing of the magnet. So when this thing is moving, you have the ability to allow it to fix it in place or allow it to pivot back and forth. So if you take out the rear bolt, it will swing away from the forklift, but not towards it. And if you take out the front bolt, it'll swing towards the forklift. And if you take them both out, it'll swing either way. So this just depends on what kind of forklift you have. If you want to allow it to swing back and forth, that will allow for most amount of movement. So if you back into something, it's less of a harsh impact because it can swing. So that's a benefit, but it's only useful if your forklift can handle it. We allowed this one to pivot backwards only. So if you swing it, it'll swing that way, but it won't swing back. So that's the common way these are set up. Some forklifts allow you to be able to let it swing both ways, but this one doesn't. So that's one level of impact protection this thing kind of gives you. And another point is right here. So this is black on black. It's probably pretty hard to see. But inside you see that giant steel dowel. That allows the magnet to shift upwards if it's suddenly struck from the bottom. So this magnet assembly weighs, I think, 300 something pounds, so I'm not going to lift it. But this will move up in this slot, so you can move around. So if you hit it and it shifts one way or the other, it'll be okay. And then it drops back down and gets caught here. Just another little piece of impact protection for if you're working on harsher terrain, which often these bigger forklifts do. And then, of course, your last level protection, which is probably the first level it's going to hit the ground, the new aluminum quick clean-off sleeve. So this is an 1/8 inch aluminum on the very bottom, where it's most likely going to hit, and then 3/16 on the sides. So these are really heavy duty. We have them on our smaller hanging magnets as well. And yep, you got height adjustability also. So this locks it off. This is just a lock nut. You just turn it left to unlock, right to lock, pretty easy. All it does is just jam the threaded rod. And that threaded rod comes up here to this handle up here. UHMW bushings on it, and you just thread this one way or the other to raise or lower the magnet. So we recommend 4 to 6 inch sweeping height. Right now we have it set at exactly 5 inches. And that's your overview of the features and adjustability on the Forager XL. Also comes with a flag. So you can use that to drop debris on. We'll get into that later.